Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. It's Sunday night, 9 p.m. Maybe if you're on the East Coast, it's technically Monday morning, but vámonos, muchachos. Let's fucking go. Oh, god damn, I gotta get the fucking intro. That's a bummer. Problem I have is when I go in and out of it later on in the live stream, I have to like mute the intro so that it doesn't just crop up every fucking time. I forgot to reset it. That's my bad. That's my bad. Anyways, we're gonna be joining some puppies tonight, and I could be way off base with this take. However, I kind of feel like it's not really worth my money to be drafting in Best Ball Mania at this time. I'm kind of convinced whoever is going to win this thing has already drafted. Like, if JCM is a league winner, it's because you drafted him in round 18, not because you're getting him in round 9. That's my perspective on it. I think the way that the ADPs have shaken out, some of these tournaments that have been open since May, like the marathon, the sprint, even if they don't fill, I kind of feel like you're at a massive disadvantage by drafting at this point in time. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is a bad take. However, I kind of feel like you're drafting at a big disadvantage. It's a real uphill battle in some of those tournaments. So a big reason why I want to join the puppy part of it is the buy-in. I'm happy to only spend $5, but also because it dropped just yesterday, and I think you're at least on a fair game when it comes to the ADP compared to other people. So we could join the flock contest that just dropped. The Scott Fish Bowl, it's a charity, so you're not eligible to win any money. And if you want to chip into charity, that's awesome, but that's just not my prerogative at the moment. So we're gonna be doing some puppies. If you want to join with me, I will drop it in the chat when to join. There's a minor delay, so I'll give it a few seconds. I hope you're ready. If that's what you want to do, queue up the puppy, 20-second pit clock, and look for the join now button in the chat. All right, let's get in. One spot left. It is full. So you may be in the overflow. Hopefully the timing is all set. I do recognize Dev, though. I see Dev. Otherwise, I don't recognize anybody else. Let's get back to the chat. I saw some questions, so let's answer them. Bryce needs some help. Hold on, let me get this sorted out. The live chat does not have the proper settings. Okay. Is it good now? There it is. Okay, Bryce is asking, I need help. Do I trade Diggs, Bo Box, I think you mean Bo Nix there, and Jaden Higgins and Sampson for Allen and Rashi Rice? I think that's a little too much. I'm personally not a Rashi Rice guy. I will die on that hill. Don't think he's a key to winning this year. I think the missed time is too much of a red flag. And although Josh Allen could easily be the quarterback one, I think you're giving up some really valuable pieces in Bo Nix and Jaden Higgins to get him. So that's not what I would do. I think I would stick with the team you drafted, let it shake out a little bit. I'm not someone who likes to be trading my team before week 1. You could be absolutely correct. You could be dead wrong. And I also don't like unequal trades. Like if it's a 3 for 3, if it's a 2 for 2, even a 1 for 1 trade, I'm fine with that. But you have to factor in waiver wire options, and that's just not the move I want to be making at this point in time. I would stick with the team you drafted. Stay with Jaden Higgins. He will prove to be much more valuable than he is as of today. So that's not a trade I would be making. BP saying 10 days till football is officially overtime for the best ball season. Time to lock in. I agree. Time to lock in. But as we approach the season, my mind is pivoting to the subscriber league and redraft. I'm, oh my God, I can't wait for this subscriber league auction on Wednesday. Got to get that billboard, the thumbnail, set up in advance. Jamie, bonne soirée à toi aussi. Um, Jamie says, at this stage of the drafts, I like to do single leagues without the tournament aspect. Yeah, that's not a bad decision. Those are pretty effective in terms of like a different, more accurate draft strategy, and that's not a bad call there. I wouldn't mind doing that as well. Um, Jamie says, you mentioned the winner already drafted. Yeah, bro, I seen you draft the winning team. Which one was it? Can you remind me which one it was? Because I would love to know. I feel like I was too high when it happened to remember. Dev saying I never make it in. Finally, yeah, happy to see you here. It's been a while, Dev. Last year you were in many of these. It's been a little while since I've seen you in the lobby. Angus asking, is this where we come for auction draft sleeper picks? I mean, Kyle Pitts is a phenomenal value. I think Kyle Pitts is clearly going to win your league. That's obviously the best pick on the board. And given Angus is going to be in the subscriber league auction, it's a gift to you, my friend. I'm offering up Kyle Pitts on a silver platter. I'm not going to bid on him. I'm just going to make sure you get him, bro. He's all yours. And that's maybe the other 10 league mates are going to be vying for him, but I am going to gift this on a silver platter to you, Angus. Kyle Pitts is all yours. All yours. League winner Kyle Pitts is he's going to be on your team. Don't worry about it. Yes, I agree with Jamie. Hit that like button. Always appreciate it. We are on the clock, and we did take CeeDee Lamb in the first round. We'll just take Jonathan Taylor. I don't see a huge difference between him and Jacobs. Technically, I do have Jacobs ranked a little bit higher, but with Daniel Jones under center, I feel a little more confident in the Colts offense, and I also think Daniel Jones will be vulturing fewer rushing touchdowns compared to Anthony Richardson in that Colts offense. So I'm willing to take Taylor mainly for the sake of exposure. Let's get that number up. I normally take a lot more Josh Jacobs personally. So let's mix it up just a little bit. Reflect the Sun saying could be a tough draft with Glue Eater in here. It definitely could be. We're right behind Glue Eater, and he goes Trey McBride. He leaves us Josh Jacobs. So we start with a double elite running back strategy and the elite wide receiver. This is a very nice combo. I'm very happy with Taylor and Jacobs in the first 3 rounds, plus CeeDee Lamb. That's pretty nice. Reflect the Sun got the first like. Y'all got a battle for that first like. Quincy is asking, do I speak French? Yes, je parle français. I grew up in a French bilingual school, and while that is a somewhat valuable skill, I mean, technically one of my acting gigs back when I was a kid that got me my SAG card was thanks to my French accent. Going to a non-native speaking school in Los Angeles when you have to commute an hour and a half each way, I don't know if I'd recommend it, but yeah, that is still in the noggin, my French speaking ability. All my teams are winners. Just statistically, this is false, Jamie. I would love to believe you. I would love to bite the cheese on this, but statistically, that's just impossible. As an exercise, who do you think will be round 1 for 2026? Okay, that's interesting. In terms of receivers, I can't imagine Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, or Jefferson are not in the first round. They're just too good. Neighbors feels locked in for round 1. I would not expect Amon-Ra in round 1 next year. I could be wrong. He's still kind of younger than you would think, but I doubt it. Brian Thomas, I think, will probably be round 1. And then, at least on Underdog, when it's receiver heavy, I would probably expect most of the receivers to still be in this category. Maybe not Nico Collins if he gets injured again, but could be the wide receiver 1 overall. It's more so like who's going to fall off at running back. I would have a hard time imagining McCaffrey is still a round one pick, like at the age of 30. Isn't he like 29 this year? He might not be there. Saquon may not be there, especially if he has a Madden curse. I would trust Gibbs to probably still be there. Bijan's probably still there. He's been there since his rookie season. Um, a player I think might vault into round one would be Drake London. I could see London move up to round one. And then odds are, if he has like a stellar season like we're expecting, Ashton Genty is probably a round one pick as well. But maybe Omarion Hampton climbs up. Maybe Travion Henderson climbs up. Odds are that doesn't happen. They're more like round two optimism. But it won't be that much different because a lot of the people in round one at the moment are still kind of young. I would expect some of those older running backs to fall off a little bit. That's my gut. But we'll see what happens. Would love to go George Pickens and pair him with CeeDee Lamb, but he's not on the board. So instead, I will stick to my rankings. I'm going to pass on Breece Hall, and we're going to go JMO. I like JMO quite a bit. When did George Pickens go? Pickens went to Dev at pick 38, top of the fourth round. So I might need to watch out for Dev sniping me on Dak Prescott if he's willing to take Pickens that high. And with that in mind, I want some other stacking options at wide receiver to plan for. But Glue Eater does take Breece Hall. We'll see how that works out for them. He also goes Rashee Rice, picks I'm generally not making. Technically, my ranks have Devontae Smith at the top, but I got a shit ton of Devontae. Let's go DK Metcalf. There's definitely a world where Metcalf does fucking crush. I'll take Metcalf. I haven't taken him a ton. And I kind of feel like this lobby, this time, I'm taking a few picks I normally don't opt for. Like CeeDee Lamb, I'm usually going Gibbs instead. I'm usually not taking Taylor in round 2. I do normally take Jacobs if he's there in round 3. Same with JMO here in the 4th. But let's mix it up. Let's go DK Metcalf instead of Devontae Smith. Bryce is asking, do I roster Pat Bryant or Brashard Smith / Jarquez Hunter? I think in a regular redraft format, Pat Bryant not going to move the needle anytime soon. Jarquez Hunter could be involved, but I think it's mainly only if Kyron goes down. I think the big flyer to bet on would be Brashard Smith. If you told me that the Chiefs' backfield is up for grabs as of today, and Brashard Smith actually has a really big role in the passing game, especially if like Rashee Rice is suspended like early in the season, I would stash Brashard Smith. I think in terms of like early season contributions, he has probably the highest chance of moving the needle. And then if he doesn't, you can cut him without worrying about it. So that would be my pick of the 3. That's who I would go. Brashard Smith, Kansas City Chiefs, rookie running back. Jamie is asking, have I ever done a guillotine league before? I have not, but it does sound interesting. I would just kind of hate to be eliminated early on. That'd be a bummer, but I've never done a guillotine league. It sounds fun. Bryce is asking JCM or Jaden Higgins, who you drafting first? Damn, this is a good question. This is a very, very good question. Gun to my head, I think I'd go JCM, but I think week 1, Jaden Higgins is contributing more, but I think JCM has kind of higher league winning potential as the season goes on. But it's very close. I think they're both really, really good picks in the 8th, and I'd be willing to draft him in the 7th. I like both of them. But here I am with the chance to grab a running back. We could go DeAndre Swift. Instead, I'll see what circles back. I'm going to go Stephon Diggs. And if this could be a Drake May team, I'm always excited about a Drake May team. So let's take Stephon Diggs. I feel really good with my top 2 running backs with Taylor and Jacobs. And there's a chance that Swift circles back. And even if he doesn't, I wouldn't be that upset if I took Pollard or Dave Montgomery. So I'll go with the receiver here. I'd be a bit worried to get boxed out at the position around this turn. There are some players that I don't want to be passing on. And just because I never fucking take him, I'll grab Jerry Judy here. I find it kind of disgusting to bet on Jerry Judy this year, but I'll grab him just for the sake of mixing it up. And I'll show you guys real quick that I'm not lying. I do not draft Jerry Judy almost ever. Let me pull up my exposure on Jerry Judy. Whoa. Sorry, something popped up. Had to close it out. How many shares of Judy do I have? Holy shit, I'm at 2.3% Jerry Judy. I've drafted 260 teams. He's on 6 of them. That is a full fade on Jerry Judy. Not a pick I like to make. Let's get back to the board before I forget. I am behind on the chat. Let me try and speed up and catch up. Armin says, seeing Luther Burden go often in the 12th, grabbed him in the 15th. Oh, that's really good price on Burden. But it's hard to see him get enough snaps and touches. Drop him for Higgins, Tesla, or another sleeper wide receiver. If you can get Jaden Higgins, absolutely take Jaden Higgins. I do trust Jaden Higgins more than Luther Burden. Jaden Higgins is going to be on the field for like almost every single snap. He is the clear starting wide receiver 2. Burden is competing for number 3, and it's a pretty crowded target share. I would, by far, rather have Jaden Higgins. But I'd still rather have Burden than Tesla. I'd like to see what the Lions offense looks like before I bet on Tesla. It's usually pretty narrow in Detroit. But Elon says, I had to take Hampton at the 2-3 turn, if you remember from last night, but my wide receivers are Chase, Pickens, Evans, Tech, Golden, and Jennings. You are killing it at wide receiver. Damn. That's pretty good. And if Hampton was the top running back on the board, I think that was the right call, Elon, because you killed it with the depth at receiver, and running back depth does dry up pretty quickly. Jaden Higgins is taken, one of my favorite picks off the board. But we do have Jonathan Taylor. Let's invest in the Colts a little bit more. Let's go with Tyler Warren. And then the only question here is, am I reaching on Dak Prescott? Because we know Dev has Pickens reached on him earlier in the draft. And that would be the stack to go with CeeDee Lamb. But running back is also a concern. And if you've been watching, I am completely fine drafting JCM, Mr. Bill, in the 9th round. So I'm going to risk it at quarterback. We'll see what we get coming back around. I have Goff as a stacking option. I have Drake May as a stacking option. And who knows, maybe Dak does circle back to me. Unlikely, but it is possible. So I'm going to go JCM as our RB3. I think he's more valuable than Tyrone Tracy, Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones. Possibly more valuable than Dave Montgomery and Tony Pollard. It might take him a few weeks to get fully emaciated as the RB1, but I think in terms of true upside, the Washington Commanders backfield has a lot of value. So let's go JCM here. I do not expect him to be available at pick 118. So I'll get my guy. Quincy says Bucky will be round 1. That's a pretty fair call. Not a bad call there. Jamie says I wrote a 420 article about guillotine leagues. It's freshman year. Your best friend got paid about a whole ounce and smoked it all by Tuesday. Now he's digging through the ashtrays for roaches. That's like overspending fab early. I can't say I am coherent enough to follow this full narrative, but sounds compelling. BP says even Odell didn't go crazy until late rookie season. Got to give these guys time. Fair point. BP, Higgins best option for early performance. Absolutely. Yeah, it would really suck to get chopped in a guillotine league early in the year. Like you could have an amazing team and just like an injury just craters you on like I feel like luck plays a big factor in a guillotine league. But I guess highest floor might be the wise choice. Quincy thinks McBride in round one. That's a little overboard for me. I don't know if I can agree with that. But London in round one sounds kind of likely. Armin says I have Bijan, London, McBride, so this is reassuring. That's nice. Quincy wants me to take Dak at the high 90s. Interestingly enough, Dev passes on him, and the team at 12 goes Dak unstacked. That's kind of curious. But Dev was willing to let me have him. However, somebody else thought differently. Armin says Chiefs are apparently in the running back market. They have too many guys to feel like they're going to desperately make a trade. But beautiful. Drake May does make it. That's who I wanted all along. And it makes me even more excited that I took Stephon Diggs for the stack. Love Drake May. I think Drake May could be a league winner this year. He's my quarterback 11. And I think he might be ranked still too low. He could fucking crush. I think Drake May is a very valuable piece in fantasy this year. But I might go with Daniel Jones late in this draft. But that's not a very comfortable number 2 quarterback, so I probably want another one. And with a guy like JMO, Goff is definitely in contention here. Let's go Jared Goff. Let's do it. No rushing upside, but the stack is definitely there. And if a player does pop off in the Lions passing game, if it's going to lead to Goff playing very well, it's usually Jameson Williams. JMO, the deep threat, if he offers like a 70-yard touchdown, that's kind of the most likely scenario where Goff is a week winner. If Goff is going to drop close to 30 points, it's because Jameson Williams has a really good game most of the time. But Jamie says gross. Jerry Judy's nasty, especially since you can get Tillman way later. I agree. I generally hate taking Judy. I'm only doing it just to mix it up, just to have a slightly different team. But yeah, it doesn't feel good to take him. Armin says Juwan is looking likely to be placed on IR. Oh, that's very interesting. I did not see that. Is there a blurb on it? No, at least not an Underdog. There's no blurb, but I'm willing to take your word for it. I'm not going to Google it right now, but damn, that'd be wild. Niners receiving core is fucking brutal. Armin, if Jaden Higgins was not drafted, you got to scoop him up. I'm telling you right now. Critical decision to scoop up Jaden Higgins. He's going to be so good. Quincy asking what's up with Tank Dell. Have people forgotten about him? He just suffered some really brutal injuries. It's very unlikely he actually plays this season. If he's available, it might just be for like the NFL playoffs, but odds are he's not going to be on the field at any time this year. I would love for that to be wrong. He's an interesting high upside swing, but I'm not expecting. I'm expecting a 0 from him this year, literally 0 points. That's why they drafted 2 rookies at receiver and then also traded for Christian Kirk. They needed depth, losing Diggs and Tank Dell. But we are on the clock. Palmer, top of ADP. I'm going to go Dallas Goedert. Get another tight end here. I don't feel desperate at any other position. So let's get another decent tight end, some high upside with Goddard, especially if A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith get hurt. There's 25-point upside. And then Our plan is to draft Daniel Jones much later. So, not going to take a quarterback. Let's have an insurance policy on JCM just in case he takes a while to get going. I'll take Eckler. I do think Eckler has some value. And at this point, you're drafting handcuffs in the first place. So just as a safety net type of pick, I'll take Eckler. But in reality, I'm like fully committed to JCM being a really, really good pick. So it might be a kind of a wasted decision there, but at least for like time correlation, maybe there's some weeks when Eckler scores and is the guy you need. It's possible. Jamie asking, do you ever want to guest on our show? I just got off Razzball for a draft, have my own show on Fantasy Six Pack and going for two. I'd be interested. I don't have a ton of time this upcoming week, but if you wanted to send me an email at Nice and Blunt, maybe we could hash that out in terms of timing. But I'd be willing to consider it. It would need to work out for my schedule. That's all. But yeah, why not? Um, Quincy says it's not a reach to get Dak there. Fair, but I do have some guys ranked above him. I'm not in love with Dak this season. Jamie saying don't sleep on Dylan Sampson. The fact that Judkins is yet to sign his contract, it's looking like it's not a bad pick. In this draft, Dylan Sampson actually does go above Quinshon Judkins at 138, Judkins at 140. So somebody agrees with you. Hulk Smash does agree with you. Armin asking what is going on with Judkins. Other fantasy players are drafting him 8th or so, but Dylan Sampson off last round of or waivers seems like the safest bet. Yeah, Judkins is talented, but bad decision maker, obviously. Not a mature player at all, and could definitely offer you 0 points. Until he signs his contract, like, who the fuck knows what's going to happen with Judkins. Technically, he could still get suspended. He's a massive gamble. Now I'm on the clock. Rashad White is banged up, so I don't think we're going to take him. Just in case I run out of time, we'll queue up Daniel Jones. But I'm willing to go Adam Thielen here. We got to get back in at receiver at some point. And if Adam Thielen actually does get traded to Minnesota, I could see more value for him than as a Panther. Adam Thielen's kind of interesting. Especially this late, there's a lot of randos and potential zeros at the position. He may get hurt and miss 11 games, but at least when he's active, I think he may have some value. I think I'll push Daniel Jones a little bit further. And we'll just grab our last running back. I'll go Will Shipley. And I feel comfortable with this running back core. We got Taylor, Jacobs, JCM, and Eckler, plus Will Shipley. I feel fine with that. So I'm done at running back. We have 3 picks left. One of them is going to be Daniel Jones, barring a snipage. And then I might draft another tight end, but don't feel it's completely necessary. I almost went Isaiah Likely there for the upside, but instead I grabbed a running back that could be a league winner if his starter goes down. Drake May, your Dynasty quarterback 7. Jamie likes Drake May. Quincy says this draft is screaming for a last round Dylan Gabriel. I disagree, but that's a good take. Armin saying McBride may have an argument for tight end 1 because he has the easiest tight end schedule. will have an emphasis on more touchdowns, and Bowers has more competition, but Bowers is the best player. If McBride can just score some fucking touchdowns, then yeah, he could definitely finish as the tight end one. I wouldn't put it past him, but I just don't trust Kyler Murray to do that. I'm not a Kyler believer. Hi Frog is asking, is Matthew Golden going to be Green Bay's Justin Jefferson? To compare him to Jefferson is too much, but will he be a potential Jordy Nelson? Maybe. I think Golden's a very valuable option. Like Golden is, in my opinion, like this year's Lad McConkey. That's I think the upside based on where you're drafting him as well in the 6th round. I think Golden could be this year's Lad McConkey. Jamie saying Juwan isn't injured; it's his contract issue. I guess we're gonna find out pretty soon. Quincy thinks Bauer is gonna be super underwhelming. We'll see it. We'll see how that turns out. I'm just going to take Daniel Jones here. I do think QJ is a fine value at this price, but I think I'm just going to go Daniel Jones because I know for a fact he's one of these last 3 picks. And then based on my receiving core, I want to be drafting either A.D. Mitchell or Isaac Tesla, but something tells me Tesla was already drafted. Yes, Tesla was taken by Dev. So I'll go A.D. Mitchell. I'll pass on QJ today. Dev really likes Isaiah Bond over Tillman. It's interesting that Isaiah Bond is an undrafted free agent that got a fully guaranteed contract. Like, you don't see that every day. That's pretty rare. Might be like the first time that's ever happened. Quincy says, I never see Isaiah Bond last round flyer and underdog. Maybe we take him here. Maybe we consider him. Jamie asked why you think they drafted Jalen Noel. Because of the risk regarding Tank Dell, the risk that he has no value at all, and that Christian Kirk could easily get injured. Like, receiver depth was a big problem for them last year. And personally, I didn't see like a massive difference between Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. I liked both of them a lot coming out of the draft. They just have different roles. And long term, Jalen Noel could be a phenomenal slot receiver in that offense. Jaden Higgins is going to be their number 2 opposite Nico. But Noel will eventually beat out Christian Kirk as the slot guy. Quincy wanted Cam Ward on this team. We don't have a stacking option. That's the only problem. BP saying he's also good in the locker room. That's also a very valid reason. Jamie asking, Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time? Nope, cannot do that, Jamie. The Subscriber League auction will be taking place at that time. Not a good time for me. I agree, BP. Not a team I want to be investing in the backfield at all. They are all going to be pretty ass. Maybe Jerome Ford might have some decent value in the passing game, but odds are Dylan Sampson is the most valuable guy. Just touchdowns are going to be very hard to bet on in Cleveland. BP. Wouldn't shock me to see Judkins still living in the dorms. But I'll catch up on some of these comments after this last pick. Let's make this last pick, and then I'll try and get back to y'all. But where do I go with this last pick? Let's do it. Let's take Isaiah Bond. Fuck it. We already took Jerry Jeudy. Let's do it. Y'all convinced me. Nobody ever takes him. And who knows? Maybe he's more valuable than Jerry Jeudy this year. Let's do it. So here's the final team. We have Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs as our anchor dual running backs at the top. We have JCM and Eckler. We're getting all the value in Washington. Hopefully Rodriguez is completely irrelevant. And then we also have Will Shipley as a random dart throw if Saquon does miss time. At wide receiver, I have CeeDee Lamb, J-Mo, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, and Jerry Jeudy. Still kind of regretting that Jeudy pick, but also have Adam Thielen, A.D. Mitchell, and Isaiah Bond. So we have some good depth. We're not in terrible shape here. And then our tight end room is Tyler Warren, Dallas Goedert. I think that's fine. I don't think we need a third, but I could have taken a third if I really wanted to there. I just didn't. And then at QB, we have Drake May, Jared Goff, and Daniel Jones. So some stacking options with everyone. And at least this team is different. I don't usually draft a team like this. So at least on that level, I think it's not bad. But let's take a look at Dev's team. He has Mahomes, Caleb Williams at QB. At running back, he's got Derrick Henry, Travion Henderson, R.J. Harvey, Javonte Williams, Ollie Gordon, and Taj Brooks. The only pick I don't really love there is Javonte, but somebody's going to have value in that backfield. And then tight end, you got Kelsey and Loveland for the stacks. That's always good. And then receiver, you got Amon-Ra, George Pickens, Travis Hunter, Hollywood Brown, Dante Thornton, Isaac Tesla, Jalen Coker, and Tyquan Thornton. Don't see Tyquan get drafted all the time, but an underrated option in the Chiefs offense. Not bad, Dev. Not bad at all. We're going to do one more, but before we do that, let me try and catch up with the chat. Dev believes Judkins will play this year. It's still a big gamble. Even if he does, the Browns scare me. Jamie's in 42 slow drafts. Will they all... I don't know if they're all going to fill in time. Like, what's the deal if, like, they haven't finished by the time the season kicks off? Do they have, like, a strategy for that? I don't know what happens there. I've never been in that situation. Scott just finished his main money draft with all your buddies. Good luck, man. Let us know what the team is. BP, I fully endorse this stance. If they don't have a contract, I'm not interested in betting on them. Jamie likes De'Ami Brown. It's possible he's pretty good, but I've never seen him actually have value. So I'm not a believer in De'Ami Brown, but he'll at least run routes. I think Parker Washington might actually be a better sleeper than De'Ami Brown. I could be totally wrong on that, though. I'm not totally sure. Kyler better than Geno. I'll at least agree with that. Kyler's better than Geno, but he's not great. Yeah, Kyler was very, very up and down last year. If you weren't getting like 25 points, which only happened like 3 or 4 times, you were barely getting 15 points with Kyler. Kyler kind of sucks. Arturo is saying trade JSN and Omarion Hampton for Rashi, Pollard, and Tet. Now that's interesting. That's very interesting. But as someone who hates Rashee Rice this year, I'm going to stay on brand and say do not trade JSN. He's money in the bank. I really like Tet, but to pretend like Pollard is even close to Omarion Hampton, I'd be lying up your ass. I'd be full of shit if I said that. I'm going to stick with JSN and Hampton there. Also, you'd have to drop someone with the 3-person trade. I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to invest in Rashi and Pollard when I have JSN and Hampton. But Tet, I would like to acquire in a different fashion. But Jamie agrees with this Golden McConkey take. Definitely possible. Dev doesn't think Judkins will get suspended the whole season. It's just a risk I'm not willing to take. Like it's like Rashee Rice. Like he could be really valuable, really high upside. I just don't want to bet on it. Quincy likes Coker for me. I didn't have Bryce Young, so it wasn't like critical, but Coker's not terrible. Who do I compare Emeka out of last year's rookies? Brian Thomas. Emeka Egbuka could absolutely be Brian Thomas this year. Um, that's my comp in terms of like fantasy value. He's not as fast as Brian Thomas, but in terms of fantasy value, that's my comp. Emeka's the next Brian Thomas, and Golden is the next Lad McConkey. Armin says, I want Chisholm to work out so badly as a May manager and a fan of the game in general. That'd be pretty fun. That'd be a great story. The Patriots always have that one white receiver that does crush. Seems like it's inevitable to be Chisholm. BP, I was trolling with the locker room content. Comment. Zach Stevens, not a familiar face. Maybe you're new to the channel. Welcome in. I think Rachaad White is a good late round flex option. I used to crush the Rachaad White draft pick. I used to love taking Rachaad White, and then he got hurt, and I've now just stopped taking him. I still have a lot of Rachaad White shares, so for that reason, I'm just like not trying to overinvest. I have almost 11% Rachaad White here. 10.9 to be exact. So I agree Rachaad White is a player I do like, but now I've just been trying to fade him and just commit more heavily to Bucky Irving. Love myself a Bucky Irving pick. Twisted Folks is happy to see you. Just finished a draft and still deciding how I feel. May, Fields, Puka, Higgins, Sutton, Myers, Genty, Hampton, Henderson, JCM, Tootin, Warren, Loveland, Bass, Houston. What do you think? Round of applause. Love the team. Love the team. Excellent team. Armin says I don't have to respond to every single comment, but I kind of want to. Zach Tillman going to lose the job. It's possible, but it's also possible he beats out Judy for the top job. Tillman's a big wild card. We'll see what happens. Dan asking thoughts on starting a draft with Neighbors, Nico, Canine, and Kamara. Kamara kind of scares me. I don't think I would take him in the 4th round, but to start off, Neighbors and Nico is phenomenal. And then if Kenneth Walker's the best running back available in the 3rd, I guess I would take him, but I'd rather go Travion Henderson in round 3. Twisted Folk, sometimes having all the rookies is actually the way to go. Sometimes the rookies are really the pieces you need in order to win. Scott, I fully agree. Hit that like button if you have not done so already. And I think I've made it close to the bottom here. Not too many comments that are directed at me. Dev does not like Kyler at all. Shitting on Kyler here. I don't hate the take, but in fantasy, I'd rather have the running quarterback. Quincy thinks McConkey will have a down year and then a massive value in next year's draft. Not a bad take. Jamie asking, with no stacks, who you taking? Fields, Nix, Dak, or May? My highest ranked would be Bo Nix, and then after that, I would want Drake May. In order, I got Bo Nix, then Drake May, then Fields, and lastly, Dak. I think Dak kind of needs to be stacked up to have a lot of success. Bo Nix, I think, is just a top 10 quarterback straight up. May, I think, could be this year's breakout candidate. And then Fields, you never have to stack him up. It's just hard to bet on his floor from week to week basis. So if I could only have one, give me Bo Nix. But if you settle on Drake May, I think that's fine. I would like to have Nix and May, the most of those two. Dev, a believer in Jerry Jeudy, thinks the disrespect is getting crazy. I mean, he's just a guy, Dev. He's just a guy. I think we've gotten to the point in the chat where I can move on. Okay. We're going to hop into another puppy. We're going to do one more puppy. So if you've been waiting, now's the time. I will be dropping in the chat when to join. And hopefully I'm not going to be one of the last people in the lobby, and hopefully if you there's more than just one person that wants to hop in, hopefully you guys can get it. But give me just a few seconds for the delay to catch up. Look for the join now in the chat. All right, let's go. 4 spots left. And now it's full. These puppies are filling quick. We get pick 2. And I do recognize P-Punch in here at 3. I also recognize Dev once again. I recognize Severe Jory. And I also recognize KS Cash. We got a lot of familiar faces in here. If you are one of the other teams, let me know. Would love to find out how many people are in this lobby. But in my opinion, 1, 2, 3, 4 of y'all are drafting in here with us. It did go fast, Jamie. It did go pretty fast. Quincy likes Gibbs for me here. I'm going to go with Bijan. A little harder to get Bijan. Jamie rooting for Peanut Punch. I recognize you, Peanut. / AJ Hernandez. Green Bean in at the 10. Welcome, Green Bean. So half of this lobby is in the chat. Love to see it. But I will just take Bijan. Hard to get Bijan these days if you're not a top 2 pick. So I will grab him while I can. Quincy is taking JCM real early in this one. You're going to have to. You're going to have to reach on him above ADP in order to get him. Because I'll let you know right now, if JCM is there at 98 and I need running back, I'm taking JCM at the top of round 9. That's my plan. That's the point in the draft where I think it's totally worth it to be reaching. I know his ADP's later, like it's still in like the 120s, but I think he's more of like a 7th round pick than an 8th round pick. So to get him in the 9th, I think is a no-brainer. But I've been a JCM believer since May, and I'm fully committing to this bit. As long as the tournament hasn't been open for more than a few weeks, I will take JCM around pick 100 every time. But so far, nothing crazy happening in this lobby. Dev feels blessed to get Jefferson at pick 6. It kind of feels like any of the guys that go in the top 6 are all valuable. But it's funny how drafts have changed, you know, like it used to be where Saquon was number 1 when these tournaments dropped, and then he slowly moved down the board, and now it's like guaranteed every time that Bijan and Gibbs go above Saquon. It's kind of crazy how things have altered. I feel like CeeDee Lamb has always been pick 4, but Saquon has fallen a little bit. Armin saying Atlanta has some O-line injuries. Curious about any and all roster moves tomorrow with rosters needed to be set soon. I heard about that. Their O-line getting a little banged up, but I'm not going to panic on Bijan. I still think he'll be really good, and they're going to use him like crazy. The volume is just like undeniable for Bijan. But who knows? Maybe he's not the RB1 after all. A very safe round 1 pick, though. I will go T. Higgins here. Highest ranked receiver. And that way we get ahead of the Jamar Chase team. And who knows, maybe we end up stacking Joe Burrow at pick 71. Always like to give myself that option. It feels good when you get the value on Burrow. But Lamar Jackson taken. Where do we go here? Um, I'll go elite QB this time. I'll go Josh Allen. We just mentioned we could get Burrow at a big value, but odds are that's not going to happen. And who knows? Maybe I go with a double elite QB in this team. We could still take Burrow if he's there at 71, and then just stop with those two. But I'll take Josh Allen here. Let's mix it up. But P Punch goes Hampton. FF Rookie takes McBride. And then probably one of the riskiest picks in the third round, Tyreek Hill goes to hamstring tweakers. Pretty much every Dolphin scares the shit out of me right now. I'm willing to completely pass on Miami. Might not be a wise decision, but it just scares me. The vibes are so bad, especially with Tyreek. Like he just sounds like a cancer on that locker room these days. Feels so inevitable that they trade him. I'd be surprised if he lasts even like to the deadline. Like the over under in my opinion is like week 4 for Tyreek Hill to change teams. He's not going to make it to October, in my opinion. Armin says Tyreek for McLaurin. If the Commanders know what's good for them, they're just going to pay Terry McLaurin. That'd be a very unwise decision, in my opinion. Terry's great for the locker room, even though he's holding out. Like, he deserves to get paid. He should be paid more than Debo. I think Terry's holdout is completely justified. They traded for Debo. Debo has a bigger contract. McLaurin is like the heart and soul of the team. McLaurin deserves his money. Free Terry. We are team Terry McLaurin on this channel. Armin says Chase Brown has risen too, and Bijan has the second best running back schedule, if I recall. That's a big factor in my choices this year. Chase Brown, not a bad pick. Like, all the running backs that were going in the second were in that tier where it just made Chase Brown like such a good pick in the third. It kind of feels like a bit of an overreaction for him to go this high, but I get it. It's not bad, but if you told me that Jacobs was the riser, Jacobs ended up going at the top of the second round instead, that would make sense. Same with Taylor, same with Bucky. It just happened to be Chase Brown for whatever reason. Maybe it's because teams want to stack up Burrow earlier in the 6th, and that feels like a safer bet, taking the running back in Cincinnati than T. Higgins. But Rashi off the board. I was not going to take Rashi. Terry falls. This feels like a no-brainer. Hell yeah, give me Terry McLaurin at this price. All day, baby. We hyped him up. We mentioned we are Team Terry, and it does pay dividends. Love that value on Terry. But interesting to see James Conner go at pick 44. You don't see that often. I mean, James Conner, even like early in the 5th, is kind of rare. But above Breece Hall, mid 4th, that's kind of wild. I'm here for it, though. We got our value on Terry instead. That's awesome. DJ Moore off the board, and fuck, what do we do here? My ranks say JMO, but maybe we can get Cam Ward much later. Let's go Calvin Ridley. Let's mix it up. Let's take Ridley because we took JMO on the last team. We also took Metcalf. And the main reason I take Sutton at this range in best ball is so that I can stack up Bo Nix. He's kind of like just a very safe floor play. But we have Josh Allen already. I'm not dying to be locked into Bo Nix. So I'll mix it up. I'll go Ridley. I think he's a great pick in the 5th round. So let's do that. But Jamie coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Jamie. Follow, hit that like button. Dude, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you, bro. Jamie, you the man. And then Reflect the Sun also coming in with a donation with no question as well. Y'all are very kind. Appreciate all of the donations. Very kind of y'all. But X Heat Lifer X is saying, "Hey bud, new here. Thoughts on Travis Hunter? Any chance he breaks out at wide receiver?" I'm now a believer that Hunter is probably worth this 5th round ADP. I was really worried earlier in the season that he may not get that. What am I saying? I was worried he wasn't going to play on offense as much, but now the reports are that he's going to definitely favor the offensive side of the ball and only mix in on defense a little bit. So I am trusting Travis Hunter. It's possible that he's this year's Brian Thomas, but he plays with Brian Thomas, so odds are that doesn't happen. I think he's a fine option. I bumped him up to wide receiver 30 in my rankings. If you want like a full breakdown on Travis Hunter, you can check out my rankings videos. The updated top 80 is the new take on Travis Hunter. But if you look at the older video, the top 40 wide receiver rankings, you'll get more of like an in-depth breakdown on my stance like a month ago. A month ago, I was much more worried about Travis Hunter, and now I'm starting to believe that these rookies are really like the pieces that you need. So he's a top 30 receiver for me. I think he's a good pick in the 5th here, but I'd rather have Igbuka, and I'd also rather have Debo, who go later. I view him kind of the same as Ricky Pearsall and Matthew Golden. That's my stance on Travis Hunter. Could definitely break out this year. But Fancy Dog, appreciate you, man. Thank you all very much. And if y'all want to donate to the channel and actually get something for it, you guys can purchase my draft guide if it's not too late. If you have not yet drafted, my draft guide is available for just $10. You'll get my top 200 picks, all my flex rankings, and which rounds to take quarterback, which rounds to take tight end. If y'all are interested, go ahead and head over to the channel, and I have a full breakdown on how to acquire that over there. But I need running back at some point. We did not get Burrow. My highest ranked would be Jacoby Myers, so I'm going to take Jacoby Myers here. I think we'll fade running back on this team just a little bit. But thank y'all. Thank you, Fantasy Dog. Thank you, Reflect the Sun. And thank you, Jamie, for the donations. Very kind to y'all. Fantasy Dog was the number 20 like. Appreciate you. Everyone hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Peanut got stuck with an auto click. Which pick was that? Was that Rashi Rice? Most likely. Not sure. Not going to take Judy on this team. That's for sure. We've gotten that out of our system already. Not going to do that. Oh, shit. Fuck. I didn't realize I was on the clock. I'm glad I at least did an auto Judy on that. But honestly, I almost just pulled up Jaden Higgins. But we take Jawan. Not a bad pick either. Someone in the chat mentioned he might be going on IR. That would suck, but still a lot of upside in the Niners offense. Still a lot of upside. But Jamie wanted Sutton. Sorry to disappoint. Heat Lifer says appreciate it. You're welcome, bro. Happy to offer my opinion. He's a hard player to know for sure. Travis Hunter is a bit of a wild card, but should be pretty valuable knowing now that he will play most of his snaps on offense. I would agree with this take, Fantasy Dog. You're a stud as well. Jamie and Reflect the Sun been in here all summer, and I feel like it's about time. Let me do something. I am adding some moderators. We got all three of you who just donated as new mods on the channel. It's not just because of the $5, it's because y'all have been with me all summer, if not dating back to last year. And y'all always chime in. You're always in the chat. Appreciate y'all. All three y'all are new moderators. Thank you. I think it worked. Y'all should have those like blue wrenches now. But JCM goes to KS Cash at pick 88. We did advertise that I would be taking him around this next turn, so maybe that's why I'm not getting him. But good pick, KS Cash. Good pick. Studley Studs. Yeah, the rookies this year are all really, really dope. Heat Lifer asking thoughts on Thornton. He looks like he will make some noise this year. I got him with my last pick. Are you asking about Dante Thornton? That's who I think you're asking about, or Taekwon Thornton. I'm assuming it's Dante Thornton, but I've been a fan of Dante Thornton all summer. There was a stretch there where I was taking him in like every single draft. We had a joke that he's like locked into 25 yards per reception this season. But I do like Dante Thornton, especially if you have Geno. But we get our boy here, Jaden Higgins. Kind of like an auto click for me at this point. In round 8, I love Jaden Higgins. One of my favorite picks. So my receiving core at this point is pretty stacked, really loaded. I can probably cool it with just one more later on at a good value. But I'm very happy to have Jaden Higgins at this price. However, my running back room is very shaky. Can't say my running backs are strong. We have the true anchor with Bijan, but boy does it dry up quickly after that point. So, I'm gonna take Evan Ingram. We'll just grab my tight end. I might be fading running back a little too heavy, but we're gonna grab a bunch of them. We're only gonna grab 2 quarterbacks. We have Josh Allen, so we'll be okay with just 2. And yeah, I can tolerate this risk level. We only have Bijan so far, so we are kind of just like fully advertising that I need running back the most, and odds are I'm gonna get sniped like heavily. But I think it can work out. I think I'll be okay. Jamie wants us to take Cedric Tillman once again. Maybe he'll be our last wide receiver, but based on my receiving core, I probably just need to be hitting running back in that range of the draft. Fancy Dog says, I don't know how you can draft and stream. Takes a lot of practice. That's why I do it so early in the season, so that I have like all my takes kind of locked up early. Like by the time I hit the end of June, I kind of know the players I like and the players I don't. But sometimes when I log off, I do feel like a little overwhelmed at times. Sometimes, not always, but yeah, just practice, bro. Jamie with the number one. Luis Acevedo has been grabbing Judy and fanning with Flacco. He's not gun shy and will provide value if he keeps the QB1. I, I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world. I mentioned on the last stream that I think Flacco could help you win in week one because he gets the Bengals matchup and Flacco just lets it rip. But the thing about these underdog tournaments, these best ball tournaments specifically, all of the money is made in the last 3 weeks of the season, specifically week 17. And based on the Brown situation, there's kind of like no chance that Flacco's actually starting games at that point in the year unless Shador and Dylan Gabriel get hurt. Like, Flacco's the guy week one, but at some point he will take a back seat once the record's bad enough where they're just going to see what they have in the rookies. And at least in best ball, how much does that help you having a quarterback that doesn't contribute in the back half of the season? Like, that's the only reason why I would never take Flacco. But I do think he could have some big spike weeks. I do think it's possible. If you're streaming the position at quarterback, watch Flacco be a top 15 quarterback in week one. The Bengals matchup is going to be one to chase all season. But, boy, some of these options are pretty sad. I'll go with Cam Scattaboo just because I need running back really desperately. Hopefully he takes over at some point. But not my favorite click, that's for sure. Tank Bigsby went to Green Bean at 111. That's unfortunate. I was kind of planning for Tank Bigsby, in all honesty. Kind of sad. But do I reach on running back again here? Probably not. You know what? Let's do it. Let's take Braylon Allen, someone that at least offers me like some level of floor. It might not be a great selection here, but I need running back pretty badly. So let's just get someone who's going to get some touches. Let's go Braylon Allen. But we do have a little visitor. Hello. 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 The little girl. Whoops. You're okay. Someone's pissed. Fancy Dog, Jamie, Reflect the Sun. Y'all earned it. Y'all have been here almost every single stream, like consistently. Appreciate y'all as viewers. But X Heat Lifer is saying Dante Thornton. Yeah, he's got some upside. The problem is going to be the target share, because I've reviewed Dante Thornton at times in the past, and the only problem is volume for him. He's a big deep threat, and it looks like he is the starting number 2 receiver. His metrics are off the charts, like 6'5", 205 pounds, and then runs a 4.3. What more could you ask for in terms of measurables? So really good athleticism. Only problem is when you look at his stats in college, the most catches he ever had was 26. That's the only concern I have for Dante Thornton, but he did turn that into 661 yards on 25 yards per catch, and his minimum all 4 years was 17.2. So in terms of like deep threat upsides, I think he's a phenomenal pick in best ball. I think it might be difficult to know when to start him in redraft though, but if it's very clear he's like running all the routes as early as like week 1 and 2, then he might be a really good flex option on a weekly basis. So he's been a darling of mine all off season. I've drafted him a lot. We took him like crazy in round 18 and then also kind of chased him up the board as he moved up into like round 15. I do still take Dante Thornton. What's my current exposure on Dante? I'm at 12% Dante Thornton. So I'm very very invested in Dante Thornton. One of my favorite picks all summer. Love him. Such a fast and agile player. Should pop off some big plays. Ray Davis was taken by FF Rookie. I would have loved Ray Davis on this team. Sadly, we don't get him. I almost took Ray Davis instead of Braylon Allen, in all honesty, but didn't work out. Instead, we're gonna draft Kincaid. We get the Josh Allen Kincaid stack. That's not bad. And with Ingram and Kincaid, I could hypothetically stop at 2 tight ends. I need a lot of running backs on this team, so I'm comfortable with that. But kind of one of our plans on this team was to grab Cam Ward. That's why I took Calvin Ridley in the 5th. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. Barring a snipage, I'll take Cam Ward. However, it feels more tempting to draft Tyjae Spears given my running back situation. That's probably the wiser decision. It's possible Ward circles back. It's very unlikely, but I also have Geno as a stacking option. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go with Tyjae Spears here. Tillman was sniped. Sorry, Jamie. We do not get Cedric Tillman on this team. We get Tyjae Spears instead. So if somehow Cam Ward does make it back, that makes the stack even better because Tyjae catches a lot of passes. But I may regret that. Might miss out on the Cam Ward option. And Dev does take Cam Ward. Not a surprise. If I didn't need running back so desperately, I would have definitely taken Ward. But I need running back depth so badly. Fantasy Dog, is it possible Gabriel or Sanders get cut? I think if someone's getting cut, it's Pickett. That's who I don't trust. I think they'll see what they have on the rookies. Yeah, the line I'm projecting for Thornton is 50 catches, 1,200 yards, and like 8 touchdowns. That's my expectation for Dante Thornton. Nothing less than 1,200 yards. Geno threw a touchdown to Dante yesterday. I missed that, but love to see it. Happy to know it happened. I think the Raiders' passing game is going to be more valuable than you think. Yeah, Dante Thornton, Torrey Horton were 2 of our favorite wide receivers in round 18. Dante does go pick 154 in this draft to Green Bean. So even if I do get Geno later, I'm not going to stack him up with Dante, unfortunately. And then my running back flyer in round 18 used to be JCM. Those days were fun. Leia didn't like the pick. She has very high standards, man. She's hard to please. But Green Bean also needed running back. Went with Bigsby. Fair pick. Very fair pick. Fancy Dog liked our Braylon Allen pick. I needed him. Being a real degen. Sadly, I can't disagree with this. Also, I don't want to jinx it, but I may be getting an Underdogs partnership this season. It's I've talked to Underdog in the last week. It may happen. We might have a Underdog promo available this season. But shh, keep that under wraps. Reflect the Sun. Glad I can offer some insight. Quincy says I love him. Wouldn't go that far. In terms of like talent, I'm really excited about him. I'm really excited about Dante Thornton. But he does have value. It's just going to be hard to predict when it works out for him. Armin says, imagine a 2-position athlete like Hunter, but at quarterback/running back. Imagine how it could play out. Other position combo could be fun too. I mean, we've already seen that with Justin Fields. It's called Justin Fields. Okay, so I noticed Gino was sniped. Fuck. I'm going to take Darnold because I need a quarterback, and I think Darnold has more value than Stafford this year. So I'll take Darnold. And then with that in mind, the plan is to take Torrey Horton, but maybe I should have taken Horton first. We'll see what Team 1 does. They go Leggett. So Darnold and Horton here at the 14-15 turn. At least I got someone. But I have Josh Allen. I'm not expecting a big contribution for my QB2. We're now done at wide receiver with these 7. And then I have Ingram and Kincaid. I think I can stop with these 2 tight ends. I think these last 3 picks are all going to be running backs. Based on my production, other than Bijan, I don't trust anyone. So I think I need 7 on this team. The 2-7-7-2 build, not very common, but I think a bit necessary, given Scattaboo is our RB2. Ayamanor off the board. I think Elik Ayamanor might be one of the best picks on the board. Like, it's possible that Ayamanor is better than Marvin Mims and Cooper Kupp and Christian Kirk. Like, if you told me Ayamanor was better than Rashad Bateman this season, I wouldn't be that surprised. But Ayamanor goes in round 15 now. Bateman goes in round 9. Especially if you have Cam Ward like Dev does, Ayamanor is a no-brainer selection. Looking like the clear wide receiver 2 in Tennessee. In all honesty, they actually sent me the contract. I haven't signed it. I haven't even looked at it. So it should be good. Jamie also has an underdog promo. Reflect the Sun, probably in between the 2 of us for Dante. It's more of like a fun take to be all on board with Dante Thornton. But in terms of like, can he get you like 20 points in a week? There's going to be a few games where Dante Thornton just pops off for massive games. And it's just going to be because he catches like a 50-yard touchdown maybe once or even twice in the same matchup. Like he can drop 13 points on one play. That's his potential. But if it doesn't happen, will he crack 40 yards in a game? Probably not. You know? Very boom bust option. Just a best ball pick, in my opinion. But that's why I like him in best ball. Green Bean, close to 40% on Dante Thornton through 170 drafts. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. I wish, Quincy. Let's make that happen. Manifest it for me. We're gonna go Woody Marks here with the Brian Robinson trade. I'm not dying to take Garendo, who's already hurt. We'll go Woody Marks, especially given B-Rob went to San Francisco. That's good for Woody Marks. I was kind of expecting the Texans to be the main landing spot. So Woody Marks kind of avoids a bit of a bullet there in terms of value. And then I still need some other running backs. I think I'm going to go Taj Brooks here. Let's see. My receiving core is T. Higgins, Terry, Ridley, Jacoby, Jawan, Jaden Higgins, and Torrey Horton. I'm probably not going to take an 8th. At least not right now. QB, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. Tight end, Ingram and Kincaid. Yeah, I need the running back depth. Let's go Taj Brooks. If Chase Brown goes down, I think Taj Brooks is really the only guy that offers value. I wouldn't trust Samaje Perine. And they did cut Zach Moss, so it's pretty clear and obvious Taj Brooks would be the high upside swing. as the handcuff in Cincinnati. Samaje will get some targets, be somewhat involved, but just not have the 3-down role that you need. Like, he'll mix in on 3rd down, but not going to run the ball very much if Chase Brown is off the field. I wouldn't expect it. Jamie says that Yamanor is the catching Canuck. I'm not familiar with that reference, in all honesty. Don't know what that's all about. Okay. Can I afford to pass on running back here? Bijan, Scadaboo, Braylon Allen, Tajay, Woody Marks, and Taj Brooks. I already have 6. But, like, yikes. Yeah, I think receiver's safe enough where it's not going to help me that much. If I can hit on this round 18 running back pick, I think that'd probably be the best scenario for my team. So I think I'm planning a round 18 running back here. Jamie says Taj Brooks, my most owned dynasty running back in 17 leagues. Some high upside, that's for sure. Very interesting option. But it's kind of strange to me that Keandre Lambert-Smith still getting drafted, even though they added Keenan Allen. I mean, as a Charger fan, I'm super hyped on KLS. That receiver room is just really crowded, though. I don't know how much he'll move the needle, but do you have Herbert? You do not. Just love KLS? Fair. He looks like a stud. Really good deep threat so far, but preseason could be misleading. If there wasn't so many mouths in the Chargers wide receiver core, I would like that pick a lot more. But just a little hard to fully endorse it, in my opinion. But could work out. Could definitely work out. Okay, at running back, what are we looking at? We could go Monangai. We could go... Honestly, I was hoping I would get Kareem Hunt. Monangai gets taken. From a floor standpoint, Justice Hill does offer some value here. Yeah, I'll go Justice Hill. I need some, like, somebody that's actually going to get snaps and actually going to get touches. And even if Derrick Henry goes down, like, I still think Justice Hill will be very much involved in Baltimore. But Armin reminded me of Brashard Smith after I make the pick. Brashard Smith would have been a good click. I wish I saw that before I took Justice Hill. Not a bad pick at all in this point in the draft. But Bobby Hill saying, in a 12-team PPR, what side do you prefer? Hampton and Hurts or Allen and Harvey? Very fair trade, but I think I'd rather stick with Omarion Hampton and Jalen Hurts. The Hampton timeshare not going to be as much of a factor as the Broncos timeshare. So I think because J.K. Dobbins is healthy as of today, I'd rather just bet on Hampton. Hurts, I don't think, is that much less valuable than Allen. Not enough to move the needle for me. So I would take the Omarion Hampton and Jalen Hurts side of the trade. But in full PPR, there's a chance that Harvey's more involved in the passing game, but I just think he's going to be splitting touches too much to be more valuable than Hampton. And then the difference between Hurts and Allen is like maybe like 1 or 2 points per game. It's not that big of a deal. I would go with Hurts and Hampton, double H. That's the side I prefer. Green Bean says, I think Keenan gets pushed down the depth chart sooner than later. Also, just didn't see anyone else I cared to take with that last pick. Very fair. Very fair point. In my opinion, Keenan is more likely to get hurt than overtaken, but could definitely be less relevant as the season goes on. Jamie says Keaton Mitchell, the better pick over Justice Hill. I'm pretty sure Keaton was already off the board. I believe Keaton was taken like 2 rounds ago. Uh, Keaton went at 176. I got Justice Hill at 215. So no opportunity for Justice Hill. He went to Green Bean as well. And Fantasy Dog says 8.9% Brooks and 400 drafts. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, we're going to do the last draft of the stream. Thankfully, at this point, I don't have to catch up with the chat like last time. So the last puppy of the live stream will be underway very shortly. I'll drop the join now button in like 15 seconds. And if you want to hop in, I hope you have it queued up. Hope you're ready. It'll be dropping very, very, very shortly. All right, let's hop in. 2 spots left. Only 2 spots. We may not have anyone in here. But I do see KS Cash. I also see Fantasy Dog. Fantasy Dog made it this time. And those may have been the only 2 spots available. So, nice, Fantasy Dog. Glad you made it. But Cash has sniped me many times. Cash is a very sharp drafter. So we got to watch out for him. Shamrock's in here. What's up, Shamrock? How you doing? The luck of the Irish helping me. This is going to be the draft that's going to be the best one of the stream. Now that Shamrock's in the chat, we're going to have all of the falling values, all the good luck, all the best picks are going to be available. Jamie says he's passing out. It's getting a bit late. Oh, I know who this is. I know exactly who this is. Based on your email, I know exactly who this is. Hi, Frog. Adam Remacho Man Randy Savage. That might be my Halloween costume this year. No promises, but if I can get all the pieces together, maybe that'll be the Halloween costume this October. Do I get CMC? Wouldn't hate it. Yeah, okay, at pick 9 we get Christian McCaffrey. Let's do it. We like I mentioned, Shamrock, you're offering some excellent luck here. We get CMC at pick 9. Sorry, I'm just checking my text messages. I will say, sometimes this channel gets really in the way of my dating life. Ugh. But that's for another conversation. That's for a conversation with like a therapist or something. Y'all are not going to help me make a smart call on that. Just the nature of the beast. Chase Brown at 15. That's kind of interesting. All right. I'll take the slightly falling value on Derrick Henry here. I'll go Derrick Henry. Zach Stevens says sucks drafts are over and have to wait like 2 weeks. That's one reason why you don't draft your fantasy league until like all the preseason games are over. Like I think next weekend is honestly the best time to be drafting. Like even like Labor Day on Monday, September 1st. I feel like that's probably like the perfect time to be drafting. There's still some roster moves that might happen. There's still some injuries. You never know. Could happen at camp. And it feels a little anticlimactic to have your roster and then have to wait more than a week for games to actually start. But the subscriber league auction on Wednesday night gonna give me 8 days of waiting time, so a little bit less. But I wanted to make sure I got the recording on that before the weekend when I expect most drafts to happen. We almost had like terrible timing conflicts for the subscriber league. Almost was going to get pushed to Labor Day itself, but thankfully we all are available Wednesday night. There is one person who has some classes that start at like 9 p.m. So I'm hoping they don't go on auto after like 2 hours of drafting, but odds are they can get a full team by the time that happens. Odds are it may not be a factor at all for that one team. Otherwise, we've never had any issues in the auction format. Everyone stayed through the whole thing. If you're in a paid league and you don't participate in the entire auction draft, like, what are you doing? That's not a wise decision at all. Shamrock has the second pick in his redraft league. Good luck, bro. Are you going Bijan or are you going Gibbs, Lamb, or Barkley? Let me know what you're going to do. Odds are you're going Bijan. A lot of those fighters, like even football players, you know, like CTE is legit a very sad thing. I'll go Mike Evans here. Need some receiver depth. Zach tipped the guy at the dispensary $10 and gave him a free half ounce. Half an ounce of the expensive stuff for $10. Damn, bro. What a deal. Wish that could happen to me. But I might go like super heavy running back on this team. Adams off the board. I'm really tempted to take Travion, but if Kittle is there, I'm probably going to take Kittle. Nope, Kittle gets sniped, so fuck it. Let's do it. Let's go heavy RB. Let's go Travion Henderson here. Let's do it. I'm going to have to hammer receiver for a while, but I'm willing to take that shot. We have really good running backs on this team. CMC, Derrick Henry, and Travion Henderson. Let's do it. But if Kittle was there, I would have probably taken Kittle and then planned on the Brock Purdy stack with both Niners. But that was not in the cards. Team 10 took Kittle himself. But Armin likes the pick. I think in round 4, Travion's a smash. I missed the days when he was a 6th round pick. It's taken him so much in the 6th round. CBT. I'm not even going to address this. You felt bad for taking it. I mean, if he's offering it, you got to take it. But yeah, that's kind of shocking. He's able to hand that out. Maybe he's the manager or something. Maybe he's like the shift manager. He's got that power. But good for you, bro. That's a nice gift. Shamrock is thinking Bijan, but I also like wide receiver in round 1, then round 2 running back and elite QB in round 3, possibly. I don't know yet. It's fair, but it's really hard to replicate Bijan. Bijan gives you so much flexibility. I think I'd probably go Bijan. It feels like the correct pick at number 2. But if you wanted to go Lamb, I don't think that's egregious. I don't think that's a terrible decision. But the drop off from Bijan to Taylor does feel, it's not the same. It's just not the same. Bijan also catches a shit ton of passes. In full PPR, Bijan's actually very valuable. But I think we're pretty much locked into wide receiver. We don't really have a choice given how we started. It would be a bit egregious for me to draft another running back here. This team has Jalen Hurts, so I think they're going to go Devontae Smith, but maybe they pass. They need running back, so we do get Devontae. I'm very happy with this price on Devontae. 57, I'll take that all day. Not sure why he's falling. This is like the second draft in a row where Smith goes like late round 5. But I think he's just as valuable as Jamison Williams. And I have both of them ranked inside my top 20. I'd rather have Devontae than DJ Moore, than George Pickens, than Zay Flowers, Metcalf, Rashi. Love this price on Devontae. I'm happy the team with Hurts did pass because I needed him. And then we'll see who circles back. But at least we're getting one of these 3 rookie wide receivers. We're either getting Hunter, Pearsall, or Egbuka, who just goes off. So we're not getting Egbuka. But I'm happy with either Hunter or Pearsall. Fine with either of those. All right, Pearsall it is. And maybe this is going to be a Brock Purdy team. We have 2 Niners with McCaffrey and Pearsall. Not bad. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, there's another acronym. There's another meaning for CBT, but I'm not gonna say it out loud. Shamrock is in a league where anything can happen. You sorry. I gotta get my mind out of the gutter, bro. Yeah. I'm not interested in either of them. Dear God. I wish I didn't know what that was. I really wish I didn't know what that was, but sometimes you just have some degenerate friends. God. Let's move on. Let's move on. Very happy to get Pearsall here at 64. Jesus. But I would expect Jaden Higgins to be on this roster in the next 2 rounds. Golden off at 65. That's how I rank him. I have Pearsall and Golden back to back. And I think this like range of rookies is like super valuable. Egbuka, Hunter, Pearsall, and Golden. Pearsall technically not a rookie, but kind of feels like one, given how last year went. First round pick at the end of the day, so at least he has that in common with them. But yeah, the 5 receivers that went off at the top of round 6, I think, are such good picks. Debo, Egbuka, Hunter, Pearsall, and Golden. If you can somehow get 2 or 3 of these in your draft this season, I think you're going to crush. Really good picks. And like such a big drop off between them and guys like Olave and Judy, in my opinion. Like, doesn't really compare in terms of upside. But what's the deal on Jaden Reed? Sheds the walking boot, but not practicing yet. Um, do I take him? Yeah, fuck it. I'll take him. In best ball, he's got that massive upside. Like he can drop a 30-point game at just about any time. I'll take him here. But I have seen him fall into like the mid eighth round. Um, there have been better values on Jaden Reed at times. But in terms of upside and best ball, definitely a good contributor for upside purposes. But Shakir off the board, Tracy off the board, Hawkinson off the board. I do like Hawkinson. I would have been tempted to draft Hawkinson, in all honesty. But I still need receiver depth. So odds are I was not going to make that click. Mahomes goes. And I'm at least getting Downs as a backup plan. But y'all know me. I can't stop myself. Jaden Higgins is pretty much an auto click for me in round 8. Sorry for the dead air. I got to respond to a text. Okay. So even though we ignored receiver for a while, I think we managed pretty well. We have Evans, Devontae Smith, Pearsall, Jaden Reed, and Jaden Higgins. A little risky, especially with Jaden Reed, but I feel like we have very strong contributors at this position. And then our running back room is fucking awesome with CMC, Derrick Henry, and Travion Henderson. So far, I really like this team. And it's all going to come down to landing this plane with the right tight end and quarterback combo. But I think we're in good shape so far. Should be strong. Sadly, the tight end position has like been rapidly moving up the board. It used to be where you could get such good values at tight end and quarterback. Well, at least tight end in like the 10th round. Now, some of those guys are long gone by then. Like when we could get Tyler Warren in the 10th round, that was such a good value. There's still some other really good picks as well, but those days are long gone. Same with Andrews. Andrews used to go at pick like 110. Not anymore. But Zach is saying, isn't there no bench and stuff in underdog leagues? Yeah, there's no waiver wire. That's why it's 18 rounds with no kicker, no defense. It's basically the same as your redraft league. However, there's just 4 rounds of what would be waiver wire picks. But Kelsey, Loveland, Cup off the board. I think the obvious pick here for me would be Kyler, not Kyler, Brock Purdy. I have Pearsall and McCaffrey. I'm definitely taking Purdy. The team after me has Kittle, so not going to get sniped by them around this turn. They don't have quarterback. Got to take Purdy here. Get ahead of Team 10. And then other stacking options I have would be Stroud and Jordan Love. But the team right on the other side of me has Matthew Golden, and they might be sniping me on Love. So if I want Love, I might need to take him here. I can't say I like need Jordan Love desperately, though. It's not going to be the end of the world if I don't get him. So it's going to come down to Drake May to stack with Travion, or I could go tight end with Ingram and Kraft as a backup plan. Ingram off the board, so not going to take Ingram. Caleb off the board. I have a lot of Drake May. I'm going to gamble that Love does make it back, and I'm going to go Tucker Kraft and de-incentivize anyone else to grab that combo. I probably don't get him. I think the team with Golden here at pick 8 is probably going to snipe me, but they did have Hurts and passed on Devontae Smith. There's a chance it happens again. They also just took Kyler. Y'all know I'm not a fan of Kyler very much. So maybe it works out. Maybe Jordan Love does make it to me at pick 129. I'd be very happy if that happened. That's the hope. But at least now I have a viable tight end on this team, and we don't get boxed out of that position entirely. Kraft is getting some good camp reports. Kraft appears to be a valuable asset in the Packers offense. But Shamrock is asking, do you see any potential quarterbacks climbing into the elite tier this year? I think Drake May is an interesting candidate. Honestly, Caleb Williams is an interesting candidate for that. Both of them have decent rushing value, and then their offenses are going to be much, much better this season. So those would be my dark horses. I think Justin Herbert could potentially get back in there, but odds are he's not going to be elite. He's just like a floor play. But when you ask elite, you're really talking about Lamar, Josh Allen, Daniels, and Jalen Hurts. So it's really hard to envision anyone having that level upside. But if I was going to offer one name, it would be Drake May or Caleb Williams. I would say those two guys I think have that upside because they also run the ball. If Ben Johnson fixes Caleb Williams, then a top 5 finish at quarterback is definitely possible. Because if he has the season that Jared Goff just had in the passing game, plus he runs for another 480 yards, that would probably be a top 5 quarterback. Most likely. I don't know if I would guarantee it. It's probably not going to happen, but those two guys, I think, have the opportunity to make it happen. But even if we don't get Love, there's still decent quarterback options here. So thankfully, we do get Jordan Love. The thing is, Ayuk is here. My receiver depth is thin, and I also have Brock Purdy. So I'm going to draft Ayuk at pick 129. I think the price is worth it. And I might regret it. I might get sniped with all 4 of these quarterbacks. But there's 6 picks before my next one. I think I'll get at least someone. And I might really regret that pick. But I think it will be okay. Hopefully it's okay. But I may have just messed up. Big run on QB. Fuck. Lawrence, Herbert, McCarthy off the board. But everyone has 2 quarterbacks up to this point. I think I'm going to be okay. Whew. That was close. It worked out. We do get Jordan Love at pick 136. Damn. I was kind of sweating that. But, okay, the team is looking pretty good. We have the Brock Purdy triple stack with McCaffrey, Pearsall, and Ayuk for that fantasy playoff upside. I have Jordan Love double stacked with Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft. I would have loved to stack him up with Golden, but we took Pearsall instead. We can't have everything, and that's not bad at all. Our running back room is elite with McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and Travion Henderson. And then our full wide receiver room is Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Jaden Higgins, and Brandon Ayuk. The team feels really good, honestly. I feel very excited about this team. Zach says I usually always just pick tight end last. There's usually someone. In a redraft league, I think that is the best strategy to implement. And honestly, even if you wind up with Goddard, I don't think it's that bad. But the touchdown production of Kraft, I think, is worth it in the 10th round. I think I really trust the floor of Kraft. And there's still some good options later, but you want someone that has a chance to be a top 5 tight end in these formats. It's not the end of the world if you don't have one, but if you have someone like that, it could be the difference maker between, you know, making it to the playoffs and making it to the final. Having that true league winning potential at tight end is valuable. But Ertz off the board, not a bad pick either. Just worried about him staying healthy. Ertz is a very sneaky late round option that can kind of save you at the position. I did drop my tight end rankings earlier today, so if you want to check that out, you can find it on the channel. Shamrock says the Bears offense looked like it was coming together at the end of the preseason. I hope so. I'm very invested in Chicago this summer. I would love to see them have a good offense. It's about time the Bears get their shit together. I hope the preseason is not lying to us on the upside of that offense. But, a good price here on Michael Penix at 153. So even though I don't have him stacked up with anyone, I'll take Michael Penix. And that way we have 3 high upside options. In general, you want to be stacking Penix, but at this price, I'm willing to take him unstacked. That team with Kyle Pitts did pass. Kind of interesting. And then the team with London probably got pissed. Cash is probably upset that we took Penix from him. But at this price, it's hard for me to pass on that. Didn't realize you had London. But Demario at 154, Najee 155. This price on Najee feels very appropriate. Pretty valuable. Definitely worth it. At some point, I got to get back in at running back before it completely dries up. Running back is getting very thin at this point. And then I don't really like these receivers. I'm not in love with Romeo Doubs. But it would definitely make sense on this team, given I have the Jordan Love stack. So I'll queue him up, but I might go elsewhere. Actually, no, I'm going to go Cedric Tillman. Give me Tillman. We got to take Tillman at least once. Armin says it's remarkable how easy it is to forget Arizona has wide receivers besides Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, they have no one that really contributes at all. Michael Wilson is such a big disappointment. So much opportunity for him that just never turns into anything. And then maybe Zay Jones actually stays healthy and actually contributes, but that's a long shot. I wanted them to sign Keenan Allen, honestly. I would love for them to add Amari Cooper as well. They need someone, but I don't know. They're just like not investing in offense at all this year. It's strange. It's like they want Kyler to prove it, and if he crashes and burns, they want an excuse to move on. I think they're done with Kyler. I would like to see him elsewhere. I think he needs a change of scenery. I think he needs to get humbled, kind of like Luka Doncic or something. Like put him on a different team and remind him that he's replaceable, and maybe he'll get his shit together. But Kyler's a big disappointment in my opinion. Yeah. Only McBride and Harrison are viable in that offense. And even Harrison, I think, is like way overpriced. I really only want McBride in Arizona. And I guess James Conner. Conner's good. Conner's valuable. Green Bean says, "Is there a reason I'm unaware of getting Xavier Worthy at 50 in BBM when his ADP is 39?" I think that might just be the lobby you're in, people that are buying into Rashee Rice, but I would gladly scoop him up at that price. That's a great value on Worthy there. I've seen him fall to the late fourth before, so pick 50 is pick two of the fifth round. It's not like insane for that to happen, but it's kind of rare. Just be happy, just thank the Lord that he blessed you with that, and move on to the next round. How come no one likes Kate Otten this year? Their offense is just super crowded. That's all. It's kind of hard to fully trust. But with the injury to Godwin and the injury to Jalen McMillan, he's a bit more interesting these days. And he does get sniped. He goes at 176. I would have considered taking him, honestly, but not anymore. I'm going to go Isaiah Likely, I think, for the upside at tight end. Let's do it. I think I'm done at receiver. I got Evans, Smith, Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Jaden Higgins, Ayuk, and Tillman. I think based on the team I have, I think this is a 3-5-7-3 build. I think so. So I think I'm done at receiver, which means just running back and tight end the rest of the way. We're definitely done at quarterback with Purdy, Love, and Penix. And then although it's tempting to grab Keaton Mitchell for the handcuff to Henry, I'd rather just bet on Henry working out. I think I'd rather do that. So I've faded running back for a while. We'll just continue to do that for our depth pieces. We'll just grab two randos in the last two rounds. And Harold Fannin goes, I'll take Jonnu Smith. I think Jonnu's going too late. Such a good value at 184. I don't understand why he fell as far as he did. Like, really? You trust Mason Taylor and Kate Otten more than Jonnu Smith? Jonnu was so good last year, and Arthur Smith loves him. Even when he was behind Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, Jonnu Smith was still like a top 18 tight end in points per game. If you told me that Jonnu finished the year as a top 10 option again, I wouldn't be that surprised. So I happily take Jonnu in round 16. And I was kind of hoping he'd be there for me. That was kind of like the plan why I took Likely. Because Likely might not contribute at all, but when he does crack the lineup, he could go over 25 points. So we get a good floor play with Jonnu, an elite upside swing with Likely, and then our regular contributor will be Tucker Kraft with a lot of touchdown upside in Green Bay. The tight end room feels pretty good. Quarterback also feels pretty solid. We got Penix at a good value, even unstacked. I'm comfortable with that. Love stacked up. That's always nice. And then Purdy with a heavy stack. The team's looking good. We just need Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey to stay healthy, and then Travion's going to be the cherry on top on this team. So in reality, I kind of feel like I don't need any contribution at all for my last two running backs, but there are bye weeks. I also have two players with a week 14 bye, so I'll need someone. But not expecting much of a contribution from these last two picks. Fancy Dog been drafting in this lobby, cannot chat and draft at the same time. No worries, man. But Armin says because Igbuka is going to absorb those targets, especially when Godwin is there, Bucky will likely take from the receiving overall, as he will finally be the starter from day one. I hope so. I'm very invested in Bucky. Love Bucky this season. Shamrock asking B-Rob, Niners backup. Wait, he already went. Yeah, I think he was off the board. I was kind of just ignoring running back for a long time there. But we're back on the clock. We need running back badly. And I'm gonna go Monangai. I would have gone Garendo, but the Brian Robinson edition makes that situation pretty random, kind of hard to trust. And Monangai, I need someone to contribute in week 14 when McCaffrey and Travion are on bye. So more like late season upside with Monangai. And then otherwise, I think this time I will go Brashard Smith, barring a snipage. Kareem Hunt, I don't think helps me. I need someone late in the season. Kareem Hunt, more of an early season guy. And Brashard Smith, I think, will probably beat out Kareem Hunt by the end of the year. Definitely more appealing in terms of upside. So that's the plan. I'll go Brashard Smith here. Sean Tucker, kind of interesting, but at some point, Rachaad White will be healthy, and I think Tucker will be relegated back to the RB3. So not my favorite click, and he does go off the board. I'll go Brashard Smith. I kind of regretted passing on him in the last draft. So that's the full roster. We have Purdy, Love, and Penix at quarterback. McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Travion, Monangai, and Brashard Smith at running back. Wide receiver, I have Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Jaden Higgins, Ayuk, and Tillman. A little bit risky, but I think fine. And then tight end Tucker Kraft, Likely, and Jonnu Smith. So maybe I need another wide receiver on this team. Maybe Likely was a bad pick. Perhaps I should have taken another wideout. But I don't hate it. I think we'll get by. I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'll be fine. So let's take a look at Cash's team. He's done drafting. He was at pick 12. He has Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy. He does have Debo stacked up. He also has TJ Hawkinson stacked up. Not bad at all. And then wide receiver, Brian Thomas, Drake London. Those two guys are stud with Debo, Christian Kirk, Torrey Horton, Isaac Tesla, and Jalen Coker. Pretty good depth at the end of the draft there. And then running back has James Cook, James Conner, Tyrone Tracy, Tank Bigsby, Nick Chubb, and Ollie Gordon. Not bad. Not bad at all. And then the tight end room is Hawkinson, Ferguson, and Theo Johnson. Love the swing on Theo Johnson. And then Ferguson at a decent price. Has been moving up the board lately. Ferguson could be a smash. 2 years ago, he scored 7 touchdowns. It's possible it happens again. And then Fantasy Dog was also in here at pick 4. Fantasy Dog has Prescott and Justin Fields, along with Anthony Richardson. Good luck with Richardson, bro. I'd be worried about him getting traded and never even playing, but definitely some elite potential when he is active if that happens. You do have the CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens double stack. That's always a good reason to take Dak above ADP. You also have Jaden Blue stacked up. That's not bad. And then full receiver room is Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Pickens, Judy, Jawan. Mims at 117. Thielen, not bad at receiver. Good luck with Judy, Hill, and Mims, though. Running back, you got Jacobs, Kamara at a very good price. Oh, wait, no. I thought that was round 6. Round 5 is a fair price on Kamara. Braylon Allen, very good pick. Jaden Blue, some high upside. And then Taj Brooks, also a good swing late. Tight end room has Ertz, Mason Taylor, and Juwan, so you faded tight end for a while. Not a bad team. Just need the quarterbacks to work out. But with the double stack, Dak was a very good pick. Got a really good price on Justin Fields. Oh no, again, I'm thinking that is the round later. So that's where Justin Fields goes. I thought that was round 10. Not bad, man. Some good stacking options. And got Mason Taylor and Braylon Allen with Fields. That's a good investment. I don't know what to make of Juwan Johnson. Like, Juwan Johnson is really, really hard to rank. There's a chance he's valuable, but at the end of the day, I kind of just don't want to bet on the Saints passing game. I don't know what to make of Juwan. But you also have Kamara. So if the Saints are better than we think, then it could be really, really good investments with those guys. But I'll try and catch up with the chat before I sign off. Zach says the Cardinals are like the weirdest team. It's like they weren't even trying. They didn't draft a single offensive weapon this year in the draft. That baffled me. I felt like they needed a lot of a lot of additions on offense, and they completely punted that side of the ball. So yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't really know what they're doing. Maybe their defense is much improved because it was bad last year, but I'm not excited about the Cardinals at all. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think Kyler probably gets. I think he probably moves on. I think he's probably on a different team next season, most likely. But Raider fan Goat is saying, what do you think of the team Lamar, Bijan, Bucky? So far, it's amazing. Mike Evans and Marvin Harrison with T-Mac. I'm not in love with Marvin Harrison, but he's not atrocious. Hopefully, he's not as bad as last year. We have kind of been shitting on him the last few comments on Arizona. Loveland is a good option at tight end. The bench has Olave, Golden. Love Golden on the bench. And they also have Mixon and Aaron Jones. So kind of risky with Mixon and Aaron Jones. Some older guys that are a bit injury red flags at this point in time. But if they do stay healthy, could be massive values. I love the Lamar, Bijan, and Bucky start. I'm a little bit worried about Marvin Harrison, but the fact you have Golden on the bench, I think covers any concern. I think the team is really good. I think I might be interested in trying to trade away Marvin and Olave at some point for maybe like another rookie receiver. Like if you could somehow get, I don't know, Ricky Pearsall or Travis Hunter for Olave, that'd be fucking awesome. But I think the team is really good. A little top heavy, but I think it's really good. Good luck with the veteran running backs on the bench. I think that's the only like major concern. But with Bijan and Bucky, odds are you don't really need them that often. Zach says, I goofed on waivers, meant to have Otten as my number 2 over Kraft. Got Otten and he almost single-handedly won me a few games. There was a stretch there when Otten was like a league winner, but it was only like a 3-week stretch when Godwin and Evans were out. Otherwise, he needed touchdowns to be relevant. And that's usually the name of the game at tight end. So I get why people don't draft him very often. Armin says Fantasy Pros just reported that Jennings could be placed on IR due to his injury and contractual issues. Makes McCaffrey that much better of a foundation. I would say the main benefactor is Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle, but Christian McCaffrey definitely always a valuable pick. Steven says these underdog leaves are a little silly sometimes, but there's a lot of money at stake. If we win the tournament, we get 100K. That's always nice to hope on. But Fantasy Dog says, like the team, can't quit drafting AR as the turning winner. It's possible. I would still expect him to get some starts, but I could also see him getting traded to a team that never uses him. You know, like if he ends up being Stafford's backup, that wouldn't shock me. I could see him getting traded to like the Raiders as well. That'd be interesting. I don't really know what to make of Anthony Richardson anymore now that Daniel Jones is the starter. But yeah, just a little thin at running back. Not atrociously thin, but a little thin. Fantasy Dog says they paid him. Juwan must try. My trust is in Kellen Moore. That's a fair point. At some point, they got to get someone involved. But Winston to the Saints, I could see him go to like the Titans. I feel like the Titans would be a great place for Jameis Winston, the backup to Cam Ward. I would love it to be Jameis Winston. But at least in New Orleans, he might actually get some starts. That could be interesting. But the Saints, I think, are tanking. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I hope you all had a fun time. And we've been live streaming for over 2 hours now. So it's time for me to go to bed. Hope you all have a good one. And yeah, peace out. See you next time. Also, like the draft, like the video on the way out if you haven't. I would appreciate it. If you're new and you've made it this far, subscribe as well. And Keenan says, what's up? Right as we end. Maybe next time. But thanks for hopping in to say hello. Fancy Dog, thank you, man. You earned the moderator for sure. And then AS is also asking, my team 12 team, 2-keeper, half PPR. Mahomes with London, Pickens, Debo, Bijan, Taylor, McBride with Warren. Bench has Etienne, Burden, Benson, Algier, Kyle Williams, and Franklin. So the bench is maybe not going to contribute at all, but the starting roster I think is phenomenal. I'm a Mahomes hater, but he is a top 10 quarterback at the end of the day. So I think the starting roster is fucking elite. Love the starting roster. The bench could use a little work. I don't know if Kyle Williams or Troy Franklin will contribute very much. Benson, just more of a stash. But there's nothing wrong with having options like that on the bench. Every team is looking much, much different on the bench by the end of the season as it does when it starts. So, good team. I love the starting options. The starting roster is fucking awesome on that team. Good luck, man. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Good night.